Can you tell us what your priorities are as president of IPAC for the next year?
Indeed, it's going to be a very active year of transformation. We can see that our whole country, and indeed the world, is going through some significant change, and we at IPAC have to be doing the same kinds of things. We will make the changes necessary as we undertake a governance review. We're also taking a look at making sure that we've got a good program review underway, looking at the services and the sessions that we offer. We need to assess that through a really good value proposition that we're going to look at. We need to make sure that our regional groups are well supported and strong. Our links with our academic community definitely need to be strengthened, and we need to ensure that the integration between the academic community's research and their ability to provide information is directly connected with our practitioners, and in a reverse way, our practitioners connected with our academic community so they can do the research that we need.
What's the biggest challenge that the organization will face in going through this transformation?
It will be the complexity of all the decisions that will be required to get the kind of organization that we need. We're going to have to do it all at once, while at the same time ensuring we've got financial sustainability. So while we're going to be making decisions on what is our organization going to offer and how it's going to support Canadian public servants, we need to ensure that we do that within the framework of good financial sustainability.
You, in your opening speech or your first speech as president, referred to the word the notion of ensuring that Canadians understand the good work that public servants do. Obviously, that's important to you.
Absolutely important. IPAC has been known to be a very great promoter of excellence in the public service, and we've done a lot of things like awards that get recognition, but we need to do more. And as a non-profit organization, I think we have to again take a look at what can we do to make sure that Canadians understand the value of the public sector.
In a sense, this is the notion of building trust in the kind of work that government does?
Absolutely. And it's the public sector. The public sector is not the same as the political environment. And so it is something of real import for IPAC to be able to make the value of the public sector clear to Canadians. And Canadians, in a time of emergency, understand the value of the public sector. We saw that in Alberta during the Slave Lake fires. We've seen that in a variety of other occasions across Canada when there's an emergency. But when the emergency is over, then the profile goes someplace else, and the public sector then isn't as valued by Canadians as perhaps during these crises. So there is something that IPAC can do to make sure that the values of the public sector are aligned with Canadian values and is in the forefront of Canadians.
You mentioned also a priority for you would be strengthening ties with the Aboriginal community. Could you explain that?
Absolutely. Canada is a very interesting country with a very interesting constitution that puts powers in a variety of different areas. And one of the things that we've seen over the past decade is the rise and renaissance of First Nation and Métis governments. As they start to look at how they provide services for their own peoples and in their own way, in their own culture, the public service capacity for First Nations and Métis communities and Inuit communities also needs to be supported. And IPAC can do a fabulous job. If we can do the job elsewhere in 25 countries, surely we can help our brothers and sisters here in Canada who are also looking for that kind of support and capacity building for their public service. But it's as important for us to learn from the First Nations and Métis about their culture, their needs, and we need to take on that kind of understanding across Canada that I'm not sure we have as public servants. Not all of us have the good lens that we should look through when we're providing services and programs and working collaboratively with our Aboriginal communities.
What message would you give to a young person who is considering joining the public service?
It is the best job available. If you have a particular passion in a specific area, you can do it in the public sector. And while you're doing it in the public sector, there is no doubt in my mind that what you can also accomplish is making a difference. And more than anything else, in the long run, that's what's important to people. How can I make a difference in my community, in my country, and for my family and the generations to come?